the rhetoric that the Occupy movement has been able to successfully put on television. I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago, that the reason why Americans are so ignorant and the reason why we're having a lot of these issues is because 60% or more of Americans get all their news from local news, which means that, the half an hour that we have, right, for local news, 10 minutes of those are spent on commercials, another 2 minutes just on teasers. And then they have time to recap Dancing with the Stars and maybe that there was a cat stuck in a tree in Germany. So we don't have a real broad knowledge of issues that affect us, like the housing bubble, for example, or about what our local government is doing, what our national government is doing. We just don't get into that stuff because we're getting our must know information has a lot to do with Dancing with the Stars and not a lot to do with, what happened at the city council these days. And so, but with the local news, is now at least showing signs, like the protest signs of what what economic justice is. And they're being forced to cover these issues and cover these raids and cover the arrests and the encampments and go talk to these protesters and have the protesters on television talking about these issues. And it's the first time probably ever, don't, quote me on this, I could be wrong, I'm probably not, that the local news has covered these economic issues so transparently. Because we have a ratings driven local news industry, and they all want to be better, bigger, better, and shinier than the other people in their local market. And so what that competition does is it's a race to the bottom. It's it's like, how can we book this psychic who's talking to Michael Jackson about what it's like to be dead, that kind of news, instead of the real instead of the real issues. And that stuff is boring and it's PBS and no one wants to run it. It takes too much time to write that stuff. It's too much time to do investigative reporting. And so time means expense. So we don't hear it. And now we've seen our local news talk about, the homeless population, talk about people who've lost their homes, talk about people who are not able to find jobs, talk about students who are now, sharecroppers to banks because they have $200,000. I've talked to people with $200,000 in student loan debt, and debt that will never go away if they go into bankruptcy. Debt that they can never renegotiate. $200,000 is basically, that's a really nice home in a lot of parts of this country, and these people will never be able to buy homes. They'll never be able to do anything other than pay off their student loans and pay off their education. I mean, that's really demoralizing to children, to kids now that are being able, or been told that, that education is their key to the future, and it's just not true.